at the end of the session, we need the answers for some of these questions. What is the role of intestinal transplantation in the management of patients with intestinal failure? Is it a last therapy in patients with no other options, or is it an elective treatment in patients who fulfill defined criteria, or is it an effective therapy, or is this an academic pursuit of small group of enthusiastic optimists? We will have to answer all these questions at the end of the session. Intestinal failure. Intestinal failure is defined as the inability of the gut to absorb the necessary water, macronutrients like carbohydrates, protein, fat, micronutrients and electrolytes sufficient to sustain life, requiring long-term parenteral supplementation. And intestinal insufficiency is reduction of gut absorptive functions that does not require IV supplementation to maintain homeostasis. So, types of intestinal failure. Three types of intestinal failure. Type 1 is otherwise known as the short or self-limiting type, which is less than 28 days, usually seen after post-op ileus in the surgical wards after minor abdominal surgeries, or seen in the intensive critical care unit with patients with pneumonia or pancreatitis. They usually require lesser time of nutritional or fluid support, and they recover easily and they recover faster. The type 2 is a prolonged or acute condition which lasts weeks to months. They are metabolically unstable, hemodynamically unstable, requiring ICU stays with a lot of inotrope requirements, usually seen with intra-abdominal surgeries, major intra-abdominal surgeries and catastrophes like mesenteric ischemias. And they require multidisciplinary interventions. They may also require specialist units like intestinal failure units. Type 3 is the chronic conditions which last from months to years. These patients are metabolically stable, hemodynamically stable, but patients require long-term parenteral nutrition supports. They may be reversible or may not be reversible. So, the first the type 2 is the one which we are going to see at the first. This topic has been divided into aspects of gut rehabilitation and also intestinal transplantation. First, before we go on to the intestinal transplantation, we need to see where we can rehabilitate the gut. So, type 2 is one of the type which requires gut rehabilitation and which requires acute intensive care units. So, after following an abdominal sepsis, after following major GI complications of major surgeries, they present with enterocutaneous fistulas. So, as for Salford Royal intestinal failure units, the disease spectrum of type 2 intestinal failure, the surgical complication stands at 32% and the Crohn's disease stands 21% next to surgical complications. So, how do you manage the type 2 intestinal failure? The type 2 intestinal failure as per mnemonics like SNAP, sepsis, nutrition, anatomy and plan. So, resolving sepsis is vital before retaining the intestinal function, and retaining the intestinal function can replenish the nutritional status. The nutritional status can be restored, and the nutritional repletion is vital before considering any reconstructive surgery. So, first control the sepsis, next initiate nutrition followed by assessment of the anatomy and then plan for a definitive treatment. So, management of type 2 intestinal failure usually requires control of sepsis and wound care. So, in sepsis there is decreased nutrient transport from the gut, decreased motility, decreased enterocyte proliferations and decreased mucosal barrier function leading to GI dysfunctions. And also they are insulin resistance, which leads on to increased protein catabolism and decreased glucose utilization leading to malnutrition, which both GI dysfunction and malnutrition goes on persisting to intestinal failure. Sepsis is the principal cause of death in intestinal failures.